Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at Elements of Islay, Ardbeg AR7. Dustin. This one here comes from a sample from our buddy Mike B. He says a nice set of samples, first of which was that Lagavulin 16 White Horse. So we're working them in kind of as we go, some of these samples, because they're pretty fun. So Elements of Islay, independent bottler. They do, Lafroig's, Bowmore's, Ardbegs, a few of them. This is AR7, just to be specific, comes in at 56.3%. Dustin, it was bottled in 2016. I know it was aged in PX casks.
Okay.
Other than that, NAS, I got nothing for you. I
All
assume,
right.
though, it's natural color, and I tell you what, that's a nice color.
It is. Let me tell you, Mike, I had to take a little nosing before we got started here. Man.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's just something. This is interesting. I mean, the first thing I instantly pick up on is these are very nice sherry casks. They're not too oaky. They're not over the top sweet, although they are nearing that. Very nice sherry cask.
It would almost take me a second. You know what? My first thought wouldn't have even been Ardbeg.
Well, we've been talking about doing a Bowmore instead of this, and my first thought was, wow, Bowmore used to be so nice. Like, they got all that plasticine out that I don't like. But I was actually thinking, like, sherry cask and Bowmore and that plasticine was gone. I was not thinking Ardbeg at all.
You just reminds me of the Lafroig 16 Signatory, like the legendary one with that PX cask. Like, the first one, I was like, wait a second, Ardbeg? Yeah, because this almost comes off like Lafroig. They like medicinal, you know what I mean?
There is a medicinal note.
Yes.
It's being hidden. Well, the PX is trying to hide it.
Yes.
But you're right. There is like a medicinal, like cherry cough syrup.
Yes.
That then gets hit with PX sherry on top of it, and it's just a lot of red fruit.
Yeah.
A lot of red fruit.
Yes, it is. I'm enjoying it, though.
Yeah, the more I go into it, the more I'm actually thinking about even that Carch's Lafroig, the PX one from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That was really good.
It was a good one.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
It is a strong PX finish. I would guess this is first fill. He didn't give me a lot of and he gave me really other than what I told you. Elements of Islay AR7.
We looked it on a whiskey base, didn't give us enough.
No, but it is. Comes off very first fill PX. It almost feels like a Lagavulin first fill PX, like with old school Lafroig in it.
This comes off like 60s or 70s distillate, Mike. I don't know if it's the cask they used or what, but I mean, it's really giving me that like forgotten era distillate.
Well, look, man, it was bottled in 2016. It's an NAS whiskey, so it's probably not that old. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's got to be an old school cask. Like they must have
something. I mean, I'm guessing this was probably bottled in 08, 09. People probably know at this point, but with these samples, we're trying to blind it the best we can.
Yeah, I'm telling you that there's just something about this that reminds me of like those old school legendary Lagavulins in terms of the cask maturation note, of course.
But here's the thing with this one. Very similar to some of those things, but now kind of that Ardbeg note's coming along. The PX, though, on this is definitely the show, but this is one of the most medicinal Ardbegs I've ever smelled.
I've lost all note of any distillate here, and I'm getting just vanilla frosting coming through. Oh, there it came back. Okay. I mean, I'm telling you, the more you dig into this, the more like rich, decadent dessert comes out, Mike.
This is probably another one of those examples of it doesn't really have to be too old to be good if you put it in a good cask. And it's a good distillate like Ardbeg. It's been a while since we've done Ardbeg.
Yeah, I would have guessed at least a 15-year-old, if not 20-year-old Ardbeg here.
You know what, though? Now kind of that Ardbeg 10 lemon lime with that ridge of vanillas there. I mean, everything's fighting through the PX cask, but it's there.
There's a little bit of lemon here, but it's not Ardbeg 10. It's not even the Ardbeg 19. It's
there. You gotta dig.
It's richer. It's creamier. It's more refined. I mean, this can't be a 10-year-old whiskey. Maybe they had a little bit of younger whiskey in here for some reason. I just don't get any youth notes here at all, Mike. I mean, we'll find out on the taste, but right now, I mean, this is smelling like 20-year-old whiskey with like a 40-year-old sherry butt. I mean, it's incredible what they've got on the nose here. Okay, maybe there's a little bit of youthful oak note here coming through, just to be critical.
Wow.
Hint of matchsticks, even maybe.
Tobacco spice and cinnamon is just exploding right now. Wow. Whew. At first, man, I got a little bit of that twinge of metallic from Ardbeg and that kind of the Ardbeg profile, but so quickly that cask took over. And it was just cinnamon, spice, tobacco leaf. Now, the finish,
spicy.
yeah, there's a swell of spice that almost brought tears to my eyes. Now it's kind of sashaying into, spiced chocolates. That's a dense cask.
Cayenne, pepper, and chocolate. Yeah.
It kind of fades into that. But
you nailed the cinnamon notes. A punch of cinnamon. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's pipe tobacco.
It was like Ardbeg, a little like from the tip of the tongue, and then it just was quickly going into just some heavier stuff. But I tell you what, man, when that cinnamon swelled, like it was as much as I could handle without tearing up. It was that aggressive.
Hints of those candy cigarettes I talk about a lot with
Yes.
Lefroy, actually.
Yes. Again, Lefroy. Now, there is a medicinal aspect to this finish. There's a very cigar ash or
it's lesser than
ash.
most Lefroy, so I mean, it's definitely not coming off super like it has to be a Lefroy. But man, I would never have guessed Ardbeg.
Yeah, I would not have guessed Ardbeg.
I would have.
Wow, that's sticky.
I would have believed Kalila or Lefroy.
I would get Bowmore.
Yeah, I would. I mean,
My first guess would have been Lefroy.
yeah, my first guess would have been Lefroy as well. And then, I mean, I guess I haven't had a lot of independent Ardbeg because it tends to be a little pricier than I think it's worth.
Man.
And it tends to be younger than I really want to go. But
This was an experience. We were picking through like 4 or 5. Like, which one should we do? I'm like,
yeah, I know. They all sounded good.
yeah. This one's
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, this is the number 2. This is one in the row. You said earlier red, like it's a very like red smell. At first, I was getting close to like Lagavulin PX Dimetap, not quite there, but you're right. It's just the darkest red sherry fruit.
Not purple. Those are purple. This is red.
And cinnamon's just being thrown on it.
I was gonna say cinnamon just came out on the nose big time with the water.
It's like a red hot that rolled around in the sand because it was a bad drinker at a wedding.
Cherry glazed red hots.
All over it. Cherry
Now it's
glazed
gotten
red
much
hot.
beefier now with the water. I'm getting much more briskety notes, which do bring me back a little bit towards the Ardbeg world.
Yeah, but the medicinal notes
honestly,
are right there too.
Honestly, it's actually kind of bringing me into a Lagavulin a little bit with the brisket notes.
It's South Isla for sure.
I'm still not getting Ardbeg. I'm sorry, I am not getting Ardbeg.
Maybe
here.
we got them mixed up.
I mean, I can believe it because there are notes here that could be to me Ardbeg, and to be honest with you, I haven't had a lot of Ardbeg in the last 2 years. So I've kind of been buying it.
As I mentioned earlier in the video, I was like, man, it's been a while since I've done an Ardbeg.
Yeah, Ardbeg's pretty much become a distillery. I've just decided I don't buy their product anymore, except the tin, which I, once a year I pick up a bottle.
I also do get down with the Corey Brecken, but yeah.
I like those. They've gotten to where I don't like the price on them for what I get. I'll probably buy them again, but
Dustin, this cinnamon, wow. I'm almost hoping I can pick some more out on the second taste because we don't have that much of it. But I tell you what, man, the first one, the cinnamon overpowered it so fast. There was like a couple things I want to talk about right at the beginning, but I was like, wow, cinnamon, red hots.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping it's pulled it apart. But the nose, I want to smell this thing for hours.
This is an excellent nosing whiskey. I mean, to be quite transparent, the first sample that he gave us, the Lagavulin 16 White Horse, I probably prefer the nose of this. I mean, it's a different style of nose.
That wasn't a great whiskey. It was a great example of what Lagavulin used to produce.
It was better on the palate than it was on this.
Had it been cast strength or something, it probably would have stood out more. But it was an experience. I'm glad I had it. I know that if Lagavulin made that as their regular standard 16 today, I'd buy more Lagavulin 16. But
yeah, and this one's it's not fair because this one's 56.3. This one has a heck of a cask. But you're right, I keep wanting to go back to this nose and this thing. It smells incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm getting that twins of metallic. So that would have been my first. Like, I'm getting a little bit of that metallic Ardbeg now.
Yeah, with water, Ardbeg is now really coming through. A very metallic note comes through. It's definitely new still Ardbeg. It's not old stills. Yeah, the Ardbeg's definitely clearly there now. I am getting a little more grapiness on the PX cask now, though. It is a little bit hinting more that way, but it doesn't have the density of those epic Lagavulin sherry casks. Still a crazy good cask.
Yeah, water definitely made it more approachable. Definitely let the Ardbeg show its head a little bit. But just a little. I mean, that was still... Whew. It's still cask-driven. And I agree. That's New Spirit Ardbeg. So I would agree. It's probably 5, 6, 7-year-old whiskey, something like that. But
No, it's older than that. But it's a new still.
Think so? Okay.
This is probably 10 to 12.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. We'll figure it out. Someone in the comment section will say.
My guess is it's a blend of something maybe younger with up to 12 or 14-year-old Ardbeg.
Such a cinnamon spice. Woo, good one. All right. So, whiskey score time, Dustin. This is going to be one that I have a really hard time going back and forth between how much I like this whiskey compared to how good of a whiskey it is. So, I'll start with what I think the right whiskey score for this one is. I'm going to call it an 88. I'm going to call it an 89. I'm going to call it an 89. I'm calling it 89 because the cask maturation is clearly on point. Anytime you can make this young of a whiskey, come off that different, especially a recognizable distillery like Ardbeg, for it to kind of make me guess as far as what it is and maybe be one of its neighbors. That's rare. It did some things I had not seen out of that distillery before. Great mouthfeel. It's explosive initially on the palate when it was neat. Yeah, I mean, I think 88, 89 as far as that's solid with the whiskey score. As far as my enjoying of this whiskey, though, and this is just purely enjoyment whiskey score, I'm at least at a 90. I mean, 90, 91 as far as enjoyment. This is probably a younger whiskey, but this is another great example, just like Lefroy PX Cartridge that you had mentioned. You can do a young whiskey great with right cask maturation and a little bit of love. So whatever this was, well done. I'm gonna call it an 88.5 as far as a whiskey score. But this is a fun experience.
Yeah,
Once again, Mike, thank you.
I'm struggling with the same thing because this is a 91 in terms of enjoyment. But man, it is too punchy. It is too sharp. That spice is way over the top. I'm worried about us drinking any whiskey the rest of the night now.
It was so spicy. You know what? And I'm not a big spice guy.
No.
But I like this spice.
I do too because it's fun, but
Yeah.
like it's overpowering. It's a punch. It's lacks drinkability. Like you're not gonna just like want to keep going back because it's just like my mouth is fried. Everything is destroyed.
Yep.
And it's even that way with water.
Yeah.
So I'm at an 88. I was thinking about going higher, but my enjoyment's like a 91. I mean, I love this. I would go through this bottle.
Such a fun whiskey.
I'd want to have a sip of this like every day for like 30 days until the bottle's gone.
Such a fun
like,
whiskey.
Such a good whiskey.
I mean, it's just like that, the Cask Strength Catalan or like the PX Lefroy. It's just like, oh man, we should have got more of these things because this is going to be an entertaining drink every time. You're gonna know. You're gonna know.
Well, this is a finishing whiskey, kind of like the Cavallon we talked about. Yeah. This is the last whiskey of the night because it's going to punch through anything you've had.
Agreed. So those are our thoughts on the whiskey. Again, Michael, thank you. As soon as Dustin remembers to bring me my sample glasses, I got some good stuff coming to you, bud. Until next time, folks, or until next time, Dustin, what do we wish the folks?
Happy elemental drinking.
See you next time.